Fistful of Dollars. On a late Saturday night when I was 12 years old, I came across a movie called The Fistful of Dollars. Never seen a spaghetti western before, I was immediately drawn to Clint Eastwood's character, the man with no name. Still to this day, he is one of my favorite characters ever. Growing up in lower income, blue collar neighborhood of East Vancouver, with a name like Marin, you attract unwanted attention by the herd. Much like the character in the famous Johnny Cash song, A Boy Named Sue, who gets ridiculed for his name and more. And so he fights back. The man with no name was the coolest person I had ever seen on TV, and he didn't even have a name. So I thought to myself, why couldn't his name be Marin? It was the first time in my life that I realized that you can make yourself into whoever you want to be. It might be a long, tough road, but it's possible. And trust me when I say it's been a long, tough road to get to where I am. And if I can do it, so can you if you are prepared to make the sacrifices required to execute the plan towards your success. Clint Eastwood's character, the man with no name, rarely talks in the film. So when he does, you lean in close to listen to his raspy, lean voice. One specific line of his stuck with me, and it has since I've been 12. When a man's got money in his pocket, he begins to appreciate peace. You and I are alligators. My longtime readers know exactly what I'm talking about. We are value speculators and investors. We look for significantly discounted companies in the world's most speculative cyclical sectors, resource and commodities. I've discussed position sizing and the importance of keeping cash on the sidelines at length. And it will continue to reveal my alligator strategy and blueprint. Sadly, we have not seen the worst of this resource market. Recession-proof your portfolio. Earlier this year, I wrote to my KRO subscribers how I believed we would be entering a recession, and as a result, the US dollar would strengthen, commodities would decrease in price, including gold, and as a result, the share prices of the resource stocks would sell off. We are now entering tax loss season. I believe that the worst of the resource market is yet to come. In this market environment, I appreciate the peace that comes from knowing I have money waiting for the right deal. When it's time, I'll pounce on the great opportunities in the resource sector. And if it is, we want to adhere to the 6 P's. Proper preparation prevents piss-poor performance. Many of you likely have heard the saying, when there's blood in the streets, you buy. Easier said than done. It is easy to get caught up in the day-to-day hype of the markets, especially these days where it's pretty ugly out there. As you can see at the chart that we're showing right now, based on the relative strength index, the RSI for the S&P 500 companies, we're nowhere near capitulation levels. It's only one indicator in my toolbox, but since 2007, it has been a reliable metric. You can see the circles there. When it's time, I'll pounce on great opportunities in the resource sector. Let me explain why this is so very important right now. Over the past 2 decades, I have watched as management teams have frantically pitched their company's potential to large fund managers. They hoped those fund managers and investment bankers would fund their dreams. Unfortunately, most of these investment bankers and fund managers own very little, if any, stock in their own accounts and funds. Picture that. They had no skin in the game. So guess what happened? The funds underperformed. The ones managed by managers with no skin in the game, and more than 3/4 of them have lost over 65% or shut down entirely. Many of the big accounts that were lead orders to many junior explorers and mid-tier producers have walked away and are under a lot of pressure from their apparent lackluster performance and high fund redemptions. That means the traditional big buyers of stocks have been the biggest sellers in a market with very little buying volume. This is exactly when an alligator buys, when institutional funds are forced to sell. That's why there's a massive opportunity for us right now as investors looking to buy the highly cyclical resource stocks. We are the buyers with no name. It's me, it's you, it's how the alligators win. I have nothing against the investment bankers and money managers personally. It's just the ones that have no skin in the game that I avoid. The ones who have no skin in the game are also the ones who take the largest take or percentage of the fees from managing other people's money, regardless of performance. And frankly, they are not one of us, as our interests are not aligned. They will never be the man with no name. They are part of the establishment, suits who look down at the retail crowd, suits that look down at Marin Katusa and what he stands for, suits that fear what the retail crowd can do if we find out and understand of the broken financial system structure that they have for far too long manipulated and benefited from on the backs of us, the retail crowd. They remind me of another quote from A Fistful of Dollars when the man with no name says in his low, raspy, lean voice, "Sometimes the dead can be more useful than the living." The players with no skin in the game are essentially dead in the resource sector. The few that are left are still experiencing redemptions. Redemptions are when shareholders of their funds or accounts want their money back. And when a redemption happens, they are forced to sell shares of the companies they own to give the fund shareholders their money back regardless of the share price. It's time for those with no skin in the game to become useful to us. We have a fistful of dollars. We are going to be alligators waiting for our prey to come to us, buying up opportunities at valuations that make analysts blush and the corporate management teams cry. So where am I looking to park a lot of my cash in the near future until the debt bomb starts exploding? You can learn more about the KRO right here with this link. And if you didn't take profits and raise cash many months ago, what have you been waiting for and doing? Fortune favors the bold, and the bold moves. Stay safe. Subscribe to the KRO, which is a Katusa Resource Opportunities, to find out exactly what prices I'm buying at and what price I sell at before the trade occurs. And you get to sell before I do. If you want to give your portfolio an edge, consider becoming a member and giving it a try for yourself.